you everybody for waiting out that really long break between runs. It's just because our runs have been so good and so on schedule so far today, it kind of stretched somebody's availability beyond their breaking point. But we're finally ready. Let's get back into it. More hardcore Uprising. Take it away, Auntie Aaron.
Hey, I'm Auntie Aaron, and welcome back to Hardcore Uprising. We have some beautiful runs coming up that will definitely be spotting the difference, and one of them is me actually looking at the game. And on COCOM, I have...
Hello, friends and fellow gamers. I'm Tempest Mask 1000. Some of you know me as Steve, and a fellow runner of this game as well. I'm looking forward to doing whatever I can for the commentary, as per usual with Aaron. And yeah, y'all are going to be looking forward, hopefully, to some wonderful top-level gaming, because this man, when he has his vision, really knows how to slay like a true warrior.
Onward to glory.
Onward to glory.
Most certainly. All right, so you're going to notice, and by the way, time will begin once our character will touch the ground from the helicopter. You're going to notice this is going to be a bit of a special case of Hardcore Uprising, because listen closely to that music right there that's playing. 3, 2, 1, go. And off we are. So Aaron here has decided to do a little something extra special with Hardcore Uprising, in that in his free time, he's made the rather genius proposition of what happens if Hardcore Uprising is accompanied by the Final Fantasy VII soundtrack. And so by utilizing a few different tunes from various different Final Fantasy VII renditions, you got yourself what we like to call the FF7 Ballet. Now, in doing so, you'll be seeing him go through the entire game while trying to keep just as perfect enough time as he possibly can, so that each track will be as seamless of a transition as we can get through. Aside from that, though, you are basically looking at one of the hardest characters to play in the game. I would say so in the fact that you're noticing on the upper left corner, Leviathan here has only a single gun slot to utilize, whereas normally in HCU, you have up to 2, and you can switch out between them. Another thing of note, though, is that with gunner characters, you also have to be mindful of being knocked back when taking damage. And this is normally going to be like the case when it comes to, casual settings or more often than not, but here in Rising mode, we usually have it where most of the upgrades, if not all of them, are purchased, and then in doing that with our core points, we can actually mitigate most of the risk involved with losing your gun power-up. So for the most part, you're going to be seeing that only happen from what is essentially knockback damage, and that will more than likely be guaranteed through taking mid-air hits. Now, with the Lotus Worm, our first major boss here, Aaron has the heated plasma gun, which has not only the rapid fire unlocked from the Rising mode shop, or character shop, for the upgrades, you also have the charge shot feature that is baked into the natural heated plasma. And of course, being that Rising mode is such a wonderful little thing, we also already have it at level 3. So whenever you collect a gun power-up, you want to collect one of the same type in order to level it up, but here that won't be necessary. We can just get it right offhand, and that effectively makes our weapons at their best. So yeah, heated plasma is going to be a constant throughout the entire run here. And that enemy right there trying to give us one final chase, after a little bit of miraculous surviving from inside a robotic giant worm's gut. But we made it onto the helicopter. We have cleared mission 1, and with that, we have 7 more stages to go. Now you can see right there on the bottom of the screen that we have our in-game time. And one of the real nice things about the HCU leaderboard is that we do use that IGT timer, which calculates things as you go along through the game. So putting that all to good use, no matter how things are with you having to utilize continues or just trying to play the game as deathless as possible, you will still get an accurate time all the way through. Now, here in level 2, we have a new type of enemy called the poison flowers, and the poison status will cause your health to gradually deplete. Now, even with that said, it does not cause knockback damage, so it's not the worst of things, but it certainly is one of those bizarre circumstances where it is still a means of taking damage all the same, and you also notice too that the health bar is split into up to 6 sections, so generally, no matter what, taking a single hit does average in a singular point of health. So gradual damage really is more of a thing they kind of just threw in. Like, there's not really much of a danger to it per se, and that's why you're not really going to see it much outside of this level. So coming as the mini-boss, we have a nice little trick that was discovered by the likes of the Phantomire and Slurpee Ninja, 2 fellow runners of the game, and as such, Aaron likes to dub the trick the PSN skip, which might sound like it stands for PlayStation Network, which funnily enough they did find this on the PS3 version of the game, but it actually does stand for a combination of the names, or so I am told. And with that in mind, we have gone through the boss pretty easily. Ooh. A bit of a misfire there, but nothing to it. Yeah, unfortunately, because the base fire weapon, while it does have a decent usage with rapid fire on, we still really wanted to keep the heated plasma for the sake of, well, this imposter right here. Yeah, so this is normally when Leviathan is supposed to show up in the game and will be commanding the Knight Persica. And through his playability appearance, like through him being a playable DLC character, the interesting thing about it is that the game does not change who you're facing off here. Which is fair, I suppose. I mean, we'll talk a little more about that later. Nothing about it, nothing to it for now, but worth noting at the very least is through this level, you'll notice some fruits that grow on the trees, including in this battlefield, and nicely done. Yeah, so the fruits on the trees do give a little bit of your health back, and you can use it as a bit of a safety measure just in case. Yeah, that's a pretty good level, and even with that flip up aside, yeah. Yes, because despite Leviathan not having a second gun slot, the grenades are a godsend for him, so. Alright, moving into our ruins level. I'm just going to give a nice little break as we transition from point A to point B. Absolutely. Yes, so the super machine gun is just really an upgraded version of your basic shooter. Of course, it's a lot more, I want to say egregious, but that's not, more so to the enemies, not to us. And even then, with the rapid fire involved, it's pretty handy and is preferable in a couple of scenarios, depending on who you're playing as, but in this case, we did get our heated plasma back, so we're looking at okay, even with that accidental grab from that enemy, which I do want to, not to show a little bit of frustration here, but I really do hate that enemy. That is what I like to call the Luffy wannabe, because you know, those guys have stretchy arms like the One Piece main protagonist himself, and worst part of it all is that when they die, they explode, and the chunks they release will deal you damage. So be very careful of them if you want to keep your gun, all while trying to traverse the level with those things in there. You can destroy the chunks, as Aaron is proving with the heated plasma shot, though. And now we're going to be switching to the chain laser. Now, real quick, we've got our Indiana Jones vibes going on here. I know that it's a bit of a standard practice to try and avoid a boulder. But yeah, Aaron also demonstrating how beefed up those flamethrowers are in health because of just how many shots it takes to destroy them on the whole. Seriously. Okay, now we've got ourselves a spiked ceiling coming up from yonder. And onto the raft. And usually it's at this point in the game that we like to give a quick little shout out to the original Contra, which this game does chronologically take place before, as well as its namesake, the Genesis title Contra Hardcore. Effectively, this is supposed to be treated either as a prequel, or sometimes people are curious to view it as a standalone title, because originally this game was supposed to have some standalone sequels in its own right, and unfortunately those never really came to light. But that's what we know of. That's what's been mentioned by the production team and thus documented. So imagine what could have been. I'd still say, though, that with the one game we got, Arc System Works, who did develop this for Konami, did a spectacular job, considering this is the same kind of graphical style you would see with their Blaze Blue games and their early Guilty Gear games before switching to full 3D. But yeah, that boss is the Draconis. It's the same mech as we saw with the Tigress fight, except decided to do a mode change and take something a little more water-friendly. We want to destroy the main turret and head piece of the thing before it forces us off its body. Because then at that point we have to go through the entire phase 1 with getting it to ram the raft in the first place. And then afterward we just try to get off it before it sinks and onto the helicopter to complete mission 3. It wasn't the worst, though. I will say that the little slowdown period certainly was unfortunate, because, you know, proving that why that enemy type is my least favorite of the game, but, you know. Alright. Still doing a pretty good job, though. And now, onto the highway.
Ah, the city. Catch me if you can.
Yes, at this point, keep it until the end of the laboratory, which luckily is one mission from now. But aside from that, this does mean that Aaron will have to be very considerate about his awareness for potential gun pickups, which those only usually come from those green floating drones anyway. But we do want to be considerate of it regardless, and of course wants to avoid taking that kind of knockback damage that I mentioned earlier, in order to therefore... Oh, true, yeah. Oh yeah, that's right, thanks for reminding me. Right. No tough guy. One gun, no tough guy, you have to be avoiding all sorts of damage. So yeah, this character, when it comes to an optimal speed run, you do want to practically play as damageless as you can. Like, yeah, I totally forgot about that. But here we go. First mini boss of the stage, and yes, this is an entire auto-scroller level, so yeah, not much we can do about that here, but there are only 3 bosses overall in the stage. So there is one more mini boss that'll be coming up eventually. Yeah, for now, I think this is a pretty good time to watch the chaos ensue. You're noticing the cars trying to come after you. It's bouncing all around. They kind of crash into each other. This is usually a very good point for me to bring up the plot line of the game, where the story goes, the Resistance is a multi-factions group of soldiers that are taking arms against the Commonwealth government, led by one emperor named Tiberius. And the usual spiel of trying to stop the Commonwealth and bring peace to the world is the name of the game here. And the 4 main playable characters when it comes to the entire Resistance unit are the likes of the gunners Bahamut, Crystal, and Harley, and then we have Sayuri, who is the Blade character, and each of them have their own plot, their own background, their own little storyline, and their reasons for fighting. It's very interesting, and you usually see something like that covered within the pre-level loading screen. Each character's text is very much different. So give them a read. Those are what gives you the full understanding of what goes on the minds of these characters or the general urgency of the scene. I dare say it's not a bad way of storytelling. But for Leviathan, his case is a little bit different because you did see earlier he was one of our enemies. And yeah, that's pretty much the case. Technically, this campaign is non-canon. So, really, playing as him is more of a challenge, a bit of a luxury, if you want to even call it that. But a hardcore luxury, yes. Yeah, it's kind of funny how this is basically what came to us, or came for us in his DLC pack, because when you play as someone like Sayuri, you'll notice night and day just how much of a breeze her fully loaded abilities can be. It's not even funny. Alright, here's our second mini-boss, and what you usually want to do once you pop the top off is you want to avoid that attack. So unfortunate that we didn't quite get it here, but... Oh yeah. Okay. I just wanted to believe it was a skill issue in my case. Alright, and with that we have cleared the boss. And yes, the game is very generous enough to give you a reminder that you can duck, so you might want to do so in order to avoid that swerving out desperation move. We're coming up to the third portion of our auto-scroller, and once we get ourselves launched into the air, you'll realize, wait a second, this hoverboard has a full flight mode. Why didn't we just do that the whole time? I don't know. Well, that's obviously the developer's mindset of going about things. So, what we got here, folks, is the Lux Corona. Now we've effectively entered Gradius territory. So, you know the phrase, shoot the core. And, yeah, that's basically what we're doing here. We're taking out those green little core-like things in order to break apart the little defensive ring that makes the Lux Corona unit's defenses. And yeah, we're going to be coming up to the main phase now, where it'll turn into its mecha form. And through here on out, we have 5 portions of health bar. Meaning that for this boss, once we cross that particular threshold where you see an explosion happen, the boss will immediately enter its next phase, where it changes up its attack pattern, and you have to wait for it to finish moving into place before you can fire at it again. Also, I may have said 5. It probably was 4. But numbers and counting aside, nicely done. We kept our laser shot. Well played. Mission 4 complete. No, I know. Oh, wait, yeah. Okay, it was 5. It was 5. Alright. Sweet. So I was right all along and was only second-guessing myself. Like a true warrior.
A true warrior.
Alright, Capital Laboratory time, folks. And this time around, this is going to feature a little something interesting, so pay attention closely to this first section, because blink and you'll miss it. You already missed it. Who am I kidding? So, the joke here is that the entire first portion of the laboratory is that the game actually wants you to do a stealth mission. So, go figure, because it's Konami, and obviously they're going to make a reference to Metal Gear Solid, and yes, you can hide in the cardboard box. It wasn't something I would have known about at first. Now, luckily, there is another laser pickup here in the level that we can get to, Oh, Crash? Crash is back up. Okay. So yeah, a little unfortunate then, but yeah. Go for the backup. There it is. Crash is effectively similar to the grenades that Leviathan, sorry, I almost said Bahamut, that Leviathan can utilize. You were now shooting missiles at level 3 in this case. And yeah, you're seeing them still being pretty effective for doing multi-damage, especially on this boss, because you're noticing the different turret guns that make up for it. And similar to the Lux Corona, once this guy reaches a halfway point of its health bar, it will force you into breaking the floor, or it's breaking the floor, and then, yeah. The rest of the fight takes place underground after a quick fall. Now, is it just getting hot in here, or is it me? Well, either way, we're picking up our heated plasma again and trying to avoid enemies in the lava factory. A bit unfortunate of a bit of a damage right there. But yeah, that right there, by the way, was the laser shot. So that was indeed a replacement that one could do if you so choose to. Luckily, there was another heated plasma right there. And as we go through that little containment laboratory, you saw him before in the blindfolded run. Here he is again, Dr. Geo Mandrake, a guy who may or may not become our friend or enemy in the Genesis game. Now, the twist here being that, yes, this is an escort mission, but it is a very quick one. However, it is also very vertical, and you need Geo to get up the stairs as fast as possible, which he will have a hard time doing sometimes, especially if it involves enemies. If he takes too much damage and loses his health bar, well, you lose a life. Luckily, the game doesn't force you all the way back to the start, but you do have to wait for him to do a get back up animation. So we did manage to avoid that. Now, this is a Contra game, and what would be Contra without at least one instance of an alien? Here we have the Celestial Imperator, folks, and the boss fight goes, you have a red arm and a blue arm, destroy the guns, then weaken the arms themselves, and then the Imperator will join the fight. And now we gotta kick the baby. Disclaimer, do not... I was just gonna say... Yeah. Disclaimer, do not kick babies in real life. Only kick babies if they are in fictional video games and happen to be aliens. That could very well be. And yeah, shoutouts to that particular game, which was developed by WayForward. That one is the most recent of the Contra games that was overall released, and definitely a good return to form considering the less than stellar performance that Rogue Core was said to have had prior to it. But here in the Contra community, we have nothing but respect to all the Contra games all the same, because we are consisting of all sorts of people who are willing to take the challenge, whether it be easy or hard, whether it be fast or long, and are more than willing to speedrun it for the sake of appreciation for a franchise that has been long running since the NES. And on that, you can also really tell too that this game has quite a nice couple of nods to past instances of Contra, especially when considering the Konami code, which, if you look at Leviathan's life counter, you can see it right there. One of the things of Rising Mode's character upgrades is you can upgrade your health bar and the amount of lives you have when starting the game, and getting 30 lives is the most that you can do before that's basically it. But, of course, you can get 1-ups throughout the game on their own, as you saw Aaron do in one case. And yeah, not really too much to it. We've got our second and final of the auto-scroller levels here, and folks, if you want to know a thing or two about me, I like trains. Yes, I do. Shout out to Tom Scott, as always. Alright. Oh, yeah. Ah, thank you. Yeah, he left a few generous shout-outs in the notes for Blindfolded. Alrighty. So now, oh yes, we got ourselves 2 trains, but you want to be very considerate of the fact that if these cars take too much damage, they will explode after a short period of time. So, try to avoid being on them when they do, because, yeah, touching the electronic track is not good life advice. It never really is. Nice one up. We could briefly touch up on the different types of weapons you could get in the game. We've already talked about heated plasma. We've talked about super machine gun. The spread gun was pretty straightforward. It's a bit of a contra staple when it comes to firing multiple shots in a spread out direction. And then there was the crash shot. We already talked about that. It's a grenade gun. It's pretty cool. But then the laser gun here, the chain laser, is not only rapid fire friendly, but it also is good for having shots that try to home in on enemy positions. And yeah, I think that basically describes it more or less. I mean, yeah, that's adequate. But there is one other type of gun, a power-up that we don't really use in the game, or at least with the speed run. But it is casually handy. It's called the ripple gun, and how it works is it fires shots that can push back enemy projectiles. So using that is kind of a good defense to have. It's all really a matter of how you personally feel. The range of it is pretty short though, so that is its one major downside. And yeah, that mini-boss, the first major mini-boss there, just came and went. All you need to do is destroy the 3 turrets on top of the trains. But now we've got the more annoying of the mini-bosses. And one that was a casual headache for me. It's more so when it goes into its mecha form, which is right here, but luckily with the right weapons and making sure you dodge it effectively, you are good to go. Just like that. He stood no chance. Yeah. He's got some pretty cool moves, I won't lie. He also tries to do the running man before he explodes. Alright. So, luckily, after beating that boss, we have ended our auto-scroller. And now, we get into the main boss of Mission 6. And if you play as Bahamut, you get to hear one of my personal favorite lines of the game. Because, yeah, it's coming up. Let's see what Leviathan has to say about it. Oh, true. Oh, yeah. Shout out to the voice actors of the game, I will say. Sure, some people might find it kind of that sort of level where the performance may be, I guess if I had to give it a name, Mega Man 8 levels of funny. But I also can applaud it for having its good moments. And I definitely have nothing but respect for the voice actors of this game too, because can't really say I've heard them do stuff in other things. So whenever you have that one, you usually get a thumbs up from me no matter
A
what.
true warrior.
But yeah, Arachne went down. That boss fight, just take care of the weak point after it goes into its second phase on the side. And yes. Ah, yes, the Capitol Tower building. How could I possibly forget you? Oh, but trust me, we're going to be entering that stage in the best way possible. So, for anyone that didn't see it earlier, feast your eyes, folks. And if you miss it, well, good news, we'll have a second chance with Bahamut coming up. But, mission has begun. And our objective, infiltrate the tower and get ourselves to Tiberius. Yes, we finally get to meet the face behind the very government itself. We get to see our major enemy of the operation. And on what is probably the best final, best subjective maybe, but I would definitely say one of the most iconic tunes of the Final Fantasy VII soundtrack, the boss theme. Airbuster. Oh, enjoy some music. Just unwind and listen closely. Nothing like trying to avoid missiles blowing up elevators. Might as well be, because at this point, folks, we might as well go ahead and tell what's coming up. So all this time, the reason that Leviathan is non-canon in his campaign is because he is the boss one last time at the penultimate portion of this stage. And while we don't really properly see it, because we don't see a proper death, we do see his mech collapse, and that is technically his final moments of the game. So, therefore, it is the confirmed kill scene of our unfortunately misled and loyal to a fault rival of the Commonwealth. But coming up right here, we will have a bit of a skip going on. Here we go, first one done. Let's see what we got for the second. Nice. Ace them. Those skip helicopter fights. Enemy helicopters will normally come to you from that portion of the tower, and if you do not pull that off, well, with the intentional pitfall death, then you are going to have to face them and waste a little bit of time for it. But now we've gone into another elevator shaft, and this time around, no elevators whatsoever. We have to climb and ride on the missiles. Probably one of the most action hero-y things you can ever do, especially when it comes to Contra. Because how much more ridiculous could that be without at least coming off cool? I don't know, you tell me. Yeah, there you go. I guess I am due to play some of the other Contra games at some point pretty soon. All right. And with that, folks, we have now met Tiberius.
Did you show up just to be killed?
Here comes his laugh. Ha ha ha! I tell you. So, everything's on fire, but everything is fine. We're going to be chasing after Leviathan and start off a proper one-on-one. I almost said 2-on-2. It's going to be a one-on-one, a series of chases up the staircase. A couple of moments where he will pause in place and try to shoot us down. Of course, we'll have to get his health bar to a certain threshold and then push ourselves into the next phase, keep the whole sequence going, and that's all she really wrote. So, I think this is a pretty good time to have our wonderful host talk about a couple of things, if you'd like to. Of course, other than that, we do be chilling here.
I really don't have anything right now, I'm afraid.
It's all well and good. How you doing today, though? Hopefully, y'all have been doing wonderfully.
Well, me, I'm pretty tired, but it's fun to be here.
Hey, that's all well and good. You gotta be having fun. That's all it takes. Yeah, some really decent weather, too, outside. Hopefully I can get a little bit of fresh air after all this. Because I think I deserved it.
Outside? What's that?
It's called touching grass. Believe me, I would know. Welcome to the Night Lunata fight, and here Leviathan's mech tries to step it up with an even bigger sword, but unfortunately he sure as heck ain't guts from Berserk, and he's only gonna look like a show-off for it. And here is the man's official final moments. So now we must... Yes. As we climb up the stairs, we're not quite done with this mission just yet. Oh no, we got ourselves what I hate to refer to as the worst video game doggo to grace the screen, and one that extra unfortunately, does not deserve that namesake that would otherwise make it pet-worthy. For all you Hades fans, this is not Cerberus. This is Cerberus of the hardcore Uprising game, though, and despite that unfortunate reality, we must take it down. Its weak point is the underbelly that you see right there with that rather parasitic-looking mouth, and luckily using a heated plasma gun like that is especially handy for that. However, because we don't have ninja jump, we gotta be... Or laser. We have to duck. So, most people might not think to duck at first, which is fair. You might have that initial instinct of going to the left or right just before it hits the ground. But if you have the ninja jump upgrade, you can phase through the body without taking damage, because how that would work is the game would give you invincibility until the upward incline of your jump finishes. So... you'll be seeing that soon with Bahamut, but for now, here we are on the battleship, and now, the final act of Leviathan, coming right up.
No choice but to fight it out.
Welcome to Mission 8, folks. We started off with a reprieve of the bike section, and yeah, we're gonna just try to avoid getting hit by some enemies, some missiles, a giant laser cannon, all privy to that ship, or provided by that ship over in the background. And yeah, not too much else, just some good old-fashioned warfare mayhem up in the blue skies, and quick shout-out to our pal, the only Joey, Biker Mice from Mars! Alright, we're off the bike, and now it's on to the good old ground in our 2 feet. So, we press on, with more enemies trying to rush us. The Commonwealth Empire is trying to give everything they possibly can, and now the battleship in the background will be trying to utilize laser cannons and crush us. So it's at this point in the level that you gotta be mindful of the crush cycle. Now you could, as you saw Aaron do, use that death opportunity to get on over to the other side. You also got some pretty tricky platforming coming up that will involve some missiles right here. As you can see, you want to be using the correct missile on the correct height in order to be getting your way through. And now we've got ourselves our good old chain laser. Hopefully we'll be able to hold on to it successfully as we move into our final boss fights. Starting with the Vitus engine. Because what's a Contra game without an orb? So this is the main propulsion system of the flagship. And it'll start things off with some mini orbs, each of them having their own weapons, their own firing patterns. You just gotta take the both of them out, because once you've depleted one's health bar, it will still fire until the entire linked pair is down. Now for phase 2, it's pretty simple. All you have to do is destroy those pillars as they open up. You're noticing the handy little guidelines, the little blue laser dotted guidelines that give us an idea that, hey, that's a danger area. Don't stand there, otherwise you'll fall. And now, bowling ball time. Let Aaron focus on this. Nice. That was pretty good so far. You saw that the chain laser dealt repetitive damage to the VII engine itself, particularly when you saw it rev up in that initial motion. And by doing it that way, a lot of its health bar went bye-bye. It wasn't one fluid section, but it was still a very good showing all the same. Now Tiberius. Or will you now? Let's find out for ourselves. So you're seeing Aaron use the heated plasma gun to make it so that he will not use his attacks. He'll get constantly interrupted in phase 1. And in that case, you just try to see him deflect bullets. You see him use his sword, has some energy projectiles, all that jazz. Even tries to tell us to go to hell. I'm sure you do. That was an insane sync. You love to see it. Ah! Nice little difference this time around. Okay. I see you. Alright, well, that was a pretty quick second Tiberius fight. The gist of that one being damage it enough times to the point that the mutant form will be at low health before it finishes its flamethrower attack. And the game does force you to do one last bit of damage in order to progress the rest of the fight. Because we're not done yet still. We've got one final phase. So coming up will be Invictus. Now for those that missed it, it's an aerial little battle stage right here composed of the wreckage of the flagship. For any falling helicopter main bodies, they will carry gun power-ups, and for gunners, that's fantastic. So in case we do lose our preferred weapon of choice, we've got a basic gold mine over here. And now, with our chain laser, we're going to try and finish off Tiberius. He has a bit of a selective weak point showing, so whenever he becomes vulnerable is whenever it becomes a prime time to just fire away at him. But once he's down, we've got one last helicopter jump to do. And once that happens, Aaron will need to cling on to it, because the game will not give you any freebies at this point. You need to grab onto that feet of the helicopter, or you will game over. If you do not have any lives left, that is. And that's time for Leviathan. GG. Correct. You've still got one more. So it'll be a continuous timer. Well, true. All right, well, not bad at all. Yeah, for now we're going to take a bit of a break here as we make our transition from character 1 to character 2. You'll see me come back on pretty shortly, but for now, enjoy our little interlude.
Mission accomplished.
Alright, welcome to Bahamut. This is one of our default playable characters from the game, so At this point, we can now start to talk about the platforms of the game. Hardcore Uprising was originally a 7th generation console title, and it still remains that way to this day, never having a physical release, and was purely digital, and was licensed by Konami's digital division. The big thing about this was that it was made available for PS3 and Xbox 360, but they are thankfully still very much with usable storefronts. While you cannot directly purchase from an Xbox 360 on itself any longer, you can still acquire the game if you happen to have one of the next generation consoles. So thankfully this game is very much backwards compatible and still accessible for purchase to this day, and gets some nice sale prices from here and there. And is also by proxy at its best with load times when it comes to the Xbox Series XS. So a little something to consider for all you console gamers, that this one does not quite have a PC port. However, we, the console community, do allow the use of emulators, so if you fancy going that route, it is viable. You can do so. Whether you want to use the PS3 version or the Xbox 360 version, that's all up to you. Because it's all the same here, thanks to that wonderful use of the IGT timer at the results screen. So Bahamut's one of those characters that is a bit, let's say, beefier, and compared to his female counterpart Crystal, is not necessarily as fast, but still definitely a good all-arounder. And unlike Leviathan, does have access to the tough guy perk from the upgrades shop, as well as being able to do the ninja jump. And, well, what can I say? We've also got a second slot back. We can now use 2 gun power-ups, so we can have our backup just in case things go south. A very, very good character to start things off with if you are new to HCU. So now we're back to our finale portion of Mission 1. Indeed, we gotta hang on, because it's time to get to the chopper! That was nicely timed. Alright, Mission 1 complete.
Mission clear.
I'm going to silence myself once more for a short bit, because level 2 starts things off with one of my favorite voice lines from Bahamut.
Warrior.
Just a funny little one at that, so stay tuned, folks. I'll be back with you shortly. But here we go. Jungle time.
Mission started.
Alright. So you heard it here first, folks. Bahamut hates spiders. Keep that in mind. And now, on to... Yep, there you go. That was a Guard Gate 2 electric boogaloo right there. And Bahamut does say, "you again," whenever he encounters it here in the jungle, so they certainly knew what they were scripting here. One thing I didn't talk about with this level from our Leviathan run is the crocodile enemies. Those will try to snap at you once you stand on them. They're good for being temporary platforms, yeah, but you do not want to be snagged by those chompers, because they will drag you into the water, and that is an instant death. Ironically, this stage here with the mini-boss, with the little skip that we talked about from Slurpee and Phanto, actually, it's a very good farming spot for your core points, which in this game is the currency used to get your unlocks, and it's just really for taking out enemies. It's That's just how you game them. So if you want to continuously farm for maybe 30, 40 minutes straight, make sure you have a heated plasma gun, and you should be able to make sure you take breaks in between, of course. But yes, make sure you just set yourself up for success if you want to get into Rising mode as soon as possible with the optimal perks and then some. Oh, hey, wait a second. I know where this is. And here he is again. Hello, Leviathan. How does it feel to be purely the boss this time and not the hero? All right, here we go. Nice. Yep. Yeah, this time we had our heated plasma guns, so that was all she wrote for this fight.
A true warrior.
Very nice. Back into the ruins, mission 3.
Mission start.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning. Shout out to Apocalypse Now. As a huge cinematic film when it comes to just cinematic history in general. Yes, Leviathan does have more dash distance to him, so yeah, note that for each character you can play as in the game, they all have their nuances. And there you go, Tigress down again. Let's do some more ruins traversing. Of course, gotta be, once again, mindful of those annoying, stretchy-armed enemies. A nice little detail to the tick enemies, you can step on them, you can run on them, and that will kill them. Normally you might not see that sort of thing be a thing in game design, but here we are. Alright, nice one up. Here comes the spike, sealing again. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. The fourth ring is usually the last ring, so don't worry. It's done now. I muted for a reason, okay? I know, it's too funny. That's just what happens when you use a condenser mic, ladies and gentlemen, and non-binary pals. Condenser mics are very good for picking up all sorts of sounds. But, I also have the privilege of now having a dynamic mic in my arsenal, which, I'm not currently using for the time being, but let me tell you, it is a beaut. Alright. Yeah, probably. So, now we can just bum rush this thing. Yep, that's right. Now right there, that's tough guy in action. Take a hit, but you don't lose your gun power up unless it's the knockback damage. And Draconis goes down. Nice little warp up onto the helicopter. We can just burn away that little gun power up too, because one of the nice perks of the proper Rising mode set that we use for Bahamut is that you will start off the level with a chain laser. So we can just easily get that back. But now it's back onto the highway. Oh yes. Auto-scroller. Here we come. So I think for this, we're just gonna let y'all enjoy the on-screen action here. Take a little break from the commentary side of things, but
I'm going in.
now you get to see all the chaos, unfiltered. Also a little air strumming on the gun guitar. That's what I like to call flipping the gun around, yeah. Just like that. Alright. Enjoy, folks. We'll be back with you shortly. Shout out to Kat.
Take this. Take this.
Alright. Not too shabby so far. Of course. And that's all we love to see. We'll talk a little bit about some other ways that you can play the game for now. One that's definitely worth the mention being arcade mode. So Leviathan may be a hardcore character, but if you want to save up a little bit of money, I will say that DLC characters though are very cheap to get, so they're not more than likely not going to break your bank, and they are definitely well priced. So kudos to the dev team for that. But at this rate, let's say you do want to stick with your guns, you don't want to jump to Leviathan just yet. Well, arcade mode is everything that you're seeing here, except for the added benefits that Rising mode brings you. So think of it similar to what happens if you play Rising mode without having purchased anything yet. That's all it is to it. But even then, that is a challenge in itself, because yeah, you do then have to be very mindful of taking damage, losing your gun power up, being a little conservative maybe here and there, while also trying to be as fast as you feasibly can. And we do have a few people that have ran that category. Of course, we also rank the leaderboard and separate each category by who you're playing as, because again, each of them are different in their own right. It would be so darn unfair if we didn't give proper due to the other play styles just because of how heated that butter knife of a sword Sayuri carries at 1000 degrees Fahrenheit. And then we do have another category for Rising mode that involves collecting all the starships. Starships are collectibles within Hardcore Uprising. Each level has one, and they're usually within a particular hidden spot. They're very consistent, they are not random, and once you get it and beat the stage, the game will have it displayed on the stage select. So effectively a collection, a 100% category in a collectathon, yeah. That works. Shout out to Collectathon, the marathon, of course. Aw, don't worry about it, man. It do be like that with the best of us. Coming into Lux Corona, round 2. It's the second verse, and it'll be the same as the first, but now we have a little more lenience with our double weapons. And, yeah, it'll be some more omnidirectional flying. So as the big boy comes along onto the screen,
I'll take you down bit by bit.
enjoy the jams, because this goes hard. And down he goes. It's not flying, it's falling in style. Let that be your proof right there. I love Toy Story.
The true warrior.
Mission 5. Back to the Capitol Laboratory. Remember when I said blink and you'll miss it? Well, don't blink this time because, yeah. For those joining us, of course. Here we go.
Mission start.
Alright, so, going through the entire stealth section yet again, seeing these enemies sound the alarm. Stealth is very much optional in this game, so we definitely take it up on that optionality, if such as a proper word in the dictionary of English. And hey, there's a demonstration right there of being able to use the box. Thank you for that, Aaron. Yay. We love our Metal Gear references. I like to think of it as such anyway, considering it is the same development company behind the franchise, but yeah, we're looking pretty good over here and stuff. We are entering the mini boss yet again. So got our big eye here. And be real with me, folks, when have you not seen a video game with a giant eye as a major enemy? It's a cliche for a reason, but it tends to work. It just works. Except for when this guy tries to fight you back. In that case, he doesn't work his job well. Alright, it's getting hot yet again. Welcome to the lava factory. Our little geothermal plant, if you want to even call it that. But, moving forward and onward. And then entering the containment cells. You notice that Aaron is avoiding those because you can destroy them, but the ones with the enemies inside will release the enemies, so that's making it artificially harder. Alright, back to Dr. Geo Mandrake here. Starting the first section off by getting through that horizontal room. Like you split. This is awful. We got a staircase to climb here. I can't climb stairs fast enough like you, Bahamut.
Take this.
But yeah, we cleared that just fine. No deaths. Looking good. And onto the helicopter you go, good sir. Don't mention it. No, really, don't mention it. Back to the main boss. You'd say it again. Second verse, name is the first. Let's see if we can get both arms. All right. Second verse. Gotta kick the baby. Hey, nice.
Mission clear.
And now it's back to the train yard yet again.
A true warrior.
So, feel free to explain the difference between Crystal, of course.
Crystal.
Because we do know she's
fast. She has very, very long air dash. She starts off with 2 health. And she is a female badass.
And we always love our absolutely amazing and capable ass-kicking heroines. Up there with Samus Aran, I do dare say. But now we've got some smooth jazz coming on in here to the train yard, so this ought to be a nice little chill sesh for the time being. So folks, feel free to get your jam emotes going and get nice and cozy. And we'll let this auto-scroller play out just fine as is. That's a good point. We haven't really talked about the actions yet, have we? I'll save it for a little bit later. But you have been seeing Aaron use a certain button in order to perform certain things like tackling the sandbags and what have you, so... kind of speed reliable. Certainly can be. Well, this is an Xbox game, and the Battletoads have made their home on the Xbox ever since Rare got acquired. Some nice scat vocaling. Some very grooving bass. That's the kind of music I can just kick back, relax, set my feet straight up and onto a nice table. And just indeed. Oh, that's the first time I properly got to hear those voice lines, actually. I swear, I've never once made the connection that they're saying, I'm running, in the most flat tone. I'm like, that's so bizarre, man. Now I have to certainly remember that for, like, whenever. Oh, yeah. Pshaw. Actually, not too long ago, took out my trumpet after so long. Brought it over to my cousin, because his kid's going to be doing that for school band. But yeah, I was just thinking to myself how I was pulling that bad boy out, gave it a nice quick toot or two, and I unlocked a treasure trove of memories from middle school. That was my jam back then.
Warning. Warning. Warning.
This one's pretty intimidating.
I do have another cousin that did used to do violin. I wonder how easy that thing is to learn. I'm told not so much, but like, yeah. And yet I've always wanted to try it out, just for the heck of it. Oh, hey, that was the boss. Nice. That was tough. Well said, Bahamut. Oh, right. Coming up to the main boss, folks. Listen nice and close, because my favorite line's coming up again.
Warning. Warning. Warning.
I hate spiders.
Haha, yes you do. Good sync moment. Bam. Yeah, that's the thing about chain laser. You're noticing the homing happens after a certain height. You gotta make it count. You gotta position yourself nice and well, otherwise it might not go in the way that you intended to.
A true warrior.
Nice. Well, I say coda because coda is that musical term that involves you have a mark, you go back to a certain point in the song, and then you keep playing until it says jump to the coda. So normally I think of that as that type of terminology that, just keep going until I say finish the song right here and yada yada yada. You get the idea. Yes. More road. More rage from the cars. And now, all things coming at us in blazes of glory. This is the Capitol Tower infiltration on our way to finding Tiberius. And I just gotta say, shout out to all the different renditions of the Final Fantasy VII music that you can hear. There have been the fact that the game is just so timeless and so beloved has led to all these different covers and variations. It's like no small feat to the fact that a game just becomes so iconic in a franchise of other games that you just so happen to have that much treatment, especially going to it. Even the remake titles, I say. They remind me, I have not. I definitely want to, but for sure. Love it. It really is close enough to a crab. You cannot deny. It's missing the legs of a crab. Like I think the pincers are the claws and the arms, therefore. But that's just my take. Hey. Coming up and on the tower, scaling it, and skipping the helicopters. Bahamut agrees. Let's listen closely and find out for ourselves with our ears. You gotta admit, that's pretty funny and cool in its own right, because when you set off the missiles, you then have to account for the timing before they explode. So that's a small feat in its own right. Oh yes, Leviathan. Love me that good old Bob Ross saying. Yes. Everything's on fire yet again, and this is fine. Heated plasma time, though, and then using the chain laser to climb our way up the staircase. A combination of both to clear the room. Yeah, tossing them at us is kind of rude anyway. I mean, yes, there are enemies. Yeah, we are taking them down. But we also kind of don't want to, like, you know, it's kind of a lose-lose situation in that way. Maybe more so for them as compared to us. But, yeah, Leviathan not really being the classiest of men when it comes to holding a meat shield in front of him, trying to think that it's going to even do something. I don't know, yeah, that's a very good callback, too, to other games that have that sort of luxury going for it, like Gunstar Heroes and its flame gun. Even though that was developed by Treasure, but a nice honorable mention, considering Treasure was made of former Konami people, so it counts, and they have helped with Konami's games and some occasions like Gradius 5. So it works. It just works. I can see that. Good old 7 Force. I would know a thing or two about how to deal with that thing. On easy difficulty, of course. I have yet to unlock my inner gamer when it comes to the other difficulties. I've only played normal all the way through casually. Oh, hey, Tiberius. He's gone again. Well, sheesh, I guess we're just gonna have to take out our frustration on the worst biological weapon of a pet. And therefore, here comes Cerberus. I almost said Siberius. What? Yes. Yes. We got Ninja Jump this time, so we can just jump right over the guy and then fire our heated plasma shots down. Mission complete. All right. Coming up to Mission 8 for Bahamut. Pretty good run so far overall, and managing to avoid some of the slip-ups that Leviathan had going. Of course, that's just how it do be sometimes, considering we're playing a less difficult character, and it's it is what it is. So let us listen together. Biker mice from Mars!
What is that reference?
Little old game. That too. Actually, yeah, it was a TV show. I thought it was a game. Whoops. I think David, my friend David might know a thing or two about that one too, maybe. Unfortunate, but hopefully we will get that back up pretty soon. Yeah. Alright. Now we're coming up to the VII engine yet again, so... Orb time number 2. Yeah, would have been nice. Well, like a way more effective means of trying to clear things out. Different developer, different controls sometimes. That's how it goes. Although they did make some nods to hardcore Uprising, so at least there's that. But... Alright. So moving into the Tiberius fights now. And this time with heated plasma. Aaron, I got a weird one for you. It sounds like your mic's not coming through on stream. Apparently? Oh, that's fair. Okay. Says he hates hearing his voice. Do not mind, folks. Do not mind. Alright. Yeah. Hey, what can I say? Whenever something like that happens, I'm just here to cover it up. All right, so moving into the Tiberius Invictus fight, next up and coming up for the Bahamut run. And, yeah, it's gonna be another case of having our two good weapons with us. We're gonna try and hit the major mouthpiece, headpiece, whatever piece, the body mouth. We're gonna want to hit that. Makes you wonder how Tiberius underwent those like procedures that ended up mutating himself. Was he even like born this way, or is he just a guy that decided to use science to try and take it all for himself and ended up being the monster of a man he is? I don't think we'll ever know. Well, fun fact though, as we are reaching the conclusion of Bahamut, is that he actually was playable in another Contra game, a mobile title that was trying to compile different characters in a side-scrolling style. Kind of one of those spin-off titles that tries to give you just like multiple playable folks. I guess you could say a Castlevania Grimoire of Souls sort of thing. Just not as developed on modern engine or graphical technology per se. I think could have been a Java game. I don't know actually. But yeah, that's GG's for Bahamut. We got one more run for y'all. And so now, as we make our third and final switch, enjoy. And Sayuri with eyes. Enjoy the interlude.
Come with me.
We'll be right back with you shortly.
Mission start. To attack.
So, Sayuri's gameplay is now back in action, and this time with Aaron being able to watch and be mindful of his surroundings. So what do we got here? Well, a swordswoman with the ability to slice. And instead of having a gun, she still has some pretty handy-dandy stuff on her packaged with using the blade arts and having a charge shot anyway. So it's as if she's got a heated plasma of her own, and that's one of the wonderful perks about Sayuri that just makes her so easy to use among all the playable folks of Hardcore Uprising. Yes, you are seeing the blade being aimed in the different directions as well. Nice little timing of the sound effect in that tune. Worth noting, the song, it's not edited. That's exactly how it goes on its own. Okay, back to the Lotus Worm. Big boy's back and hungrier than ever. But spoiler alert, it's not going to have a feast or an appetite to enjoy for all that long. I can quickly point out that the boss also does have its segments from the body that you can destroy. And it does tend to get you a couple of perks. A couple of drops like a life up, which you just saw there, but you can also get some gun power-ups as well if you're a gunner. Or even some score increasing stuff, because this game also does have a score counter in mind, as you know, as most shoot-em-ups like to do. It's pretty groovy. Being chased by the enemy drill unit once more, and for the final time of this fleet fest. We've taken it down. And now we'll take flight very shortly. So, mission 1 done. Coming up to the jungle. Stay tuned, everybody. Mission 2 for Sayuri. Welcome back to the jungle. We've got fun and games. We'll take anything you want. More than all the names. You know, the people that you... Oh, sorry. I had Guns N' Roses on the mind. Shout out to rock and roll. Back to the enemy gate number 2 for the final time. Take out the laser cannon. Open the way forward. And then try to go through the poison flowers. Let's talk about the action command, because that was something that I was going to be saving for later, and later is now. So therefore, pressing the B button or the circle button, depending on which one you have it mapped, because you can also change your controls if you so choose. You can unlock actions to use that button with, and more often than not, it can be using the vaulting over objects or ledges that are like very short but right in front of you. You could deflect bullets with that. This is typically something that I myself would use for the sniper shots, and just as they come, just for the cool points. It's also possible to charge through the breakable stuff, like the sandbag stacks. And you can also swerve past enemies as well, so it's kind of like a dodge roll. It's kind of like a Swiss Army knife dodge roll button. And Leviathan, one final time. Coming up tonight, Persica will once again try to teleport from different locations of the battlefield, make itself known. And then we gotta take it out as fast as possible before it really starts to try and give trouble. Because them laser cannons, they do be persistent sometimes.
I'll kill you. Not so soon.
Mission accomplished.
Mission.
Alright. Stick with us very shortly, folks, because ruins are coming up next.
Mission start.
So going back into the ruins and taking on all the enemies that we have to offer, including those notorious stretchy fellas. The good news about Sayuri is that she does not have any gun power-ups of any kind given the specific weapon she carries, so taking damage is not as detrimental in her gameplay, as if you needed another reason to consider playing her being a very beginner-friendly category and easily the fastest possible time any one of the people can get in the game. So back into the Tigress fight. This boss fight, if given the chance to attack, it does have its turret guns, but you can also you see it try to fire the laser and try to mess us up pretty good with that beam attack. So try to avoid that if you can. It'd certainly be convenient that way. Go through the Indiana Jones Boulder Run section. Climbing up them platforms. Avoiding the spikes. Here comes the spike ceiling. And here's the song that I like to compare this portion of the melody to Pirates of the Caribbean, except not really. One final reverse waterfall, because remember how the original NES game for Contra had the waterfall that you gotta climb up? Yeah, this is just going back down it. Much more preferable. Alright, warning time. Comes the boss now. It's from Tigris to Draconis. So for anybody that might be joining us and may have missed this battle during the other two occasions, you gotta have it try to ram the raft. Give us the perfect opportunity to go onto the main bridge. Take things up close and personal with the main turret / head, and then it sinks. And then Aaron will have to get on yet another helicopter ride in order to continue. GG. So far, halfway there. And even more so now, so no way we're living on a prayer. Just fine grit and then some. Stick around, folks. We're coming back to the Capitol Highway. And with it, I'm also going to take another commentator pause. So this time, you'll have the chance to properly hear Aaron's selection of music for the highway without a good 80% of my commentating for this particular level. So we hope you all enjoy. And as a quick reminder to all you watching live here on Fleet Fest, we highly implore that you do give donating to our cause a contribution, no matter how big or how small it is. We absolutely appreciate it, and it's going to help however many people we can, and I definitely want to see us try to get as much as we can for that very reason. So folks, please consider donating, and if you need to reacquire that link, use that exclamation point at donate command. But now, we continue without the unnecessary interruptions of my voice. And we say, please jam along to what we got here for you on Central Highway. All right, hope you all enjoyed those nice tunes, but now I'm going to be coming back in and reminding you that something you'll be seeing a little different with the second mini-boss of Capital Highway here is that where Aaron was unable to use the gunners to completely take it out in a whole cycle before it goes into the background and uses that wacky little attack that it does to try and pin you with a bunch of falling rubble. Here, as Sayuri, he will be able to do so. So we'll see if we can get that nice and comfortably. A little something to anticipate for the road ahead. I am a little curious, though, and this is just a bit of a question, a little food for thought. But anybody that has followed any information about Contra and any of the games that associate with it, I do wonder what a hardcore Uprising 2 would look like, or even been called, because hey, who knows? You can be one of those games, you can be one of those IPs, you could be more than lucky to have more than one game or piece come for you in through the thick of it. Ah, I see. Yes. It does give you a bit of time to reset that. Good call. Two bars. 29. 2 bars. Okay.
Warning.
Okay. It's for the boss then.
This will not be easy.
Just a little communication from Aaron, nothing to it. Alright, Lux Corona. Got the crystal areas. Take those out to reveal the main body. At this rate, I'm basically summarizing what we've got in terms of the action. Ooh. Looks like Aaron managed to get something pretty cool and popped off. Oh, the warp, I see. Okay. So, because he died in the right spot, what Aaron is now doing is he's technically placed inside the background of the level, and that's what's allowing him to get those sneaky hits in there on the boss anyway. Very small thing, but it is super good to have if you do it. Alright, auto scroller one down. We'll have our second one after this mission. But first, Capital Laboratory, the audition, yes. Alright, where are we doing our audition this time? I'm assuming it's the Honeybee Club? Aw, but I want to pretend it's the Honeybee Club. Never mind. So instead of doing the way of Solid Snake, which by the way, shout out to the Metal Gear cast members that'll be coming over to New York Comic Con next weekend, of course. We're just gonna doom right through it. We're gonna rip and tear. And on top of that too, we did get to see what it's like to use the box, so now you've probably known about that mechanic that, once again, I just had no clue about myself, and it was a funny discovery for the time, just a little realization that's like, hey, everyone can do this, yay. And kudos really to Arc System Works for putting together what I still think is just a solid experience, a very fun one, and one that I still to this day wish they would consider making a PC or Switch version. But as it is, there's no sign of that to be. I'd be one to argue that if they do it, might bring more customers in, especially with rare hidden games like that, or even the U.S. Mega Man title. He had that for Game Gear. Now that's a doozy, all right. But I digress. I digress a little too long there. Going through the laboratory chambers, and on the way to Dr. Geo Mandrake one final time. He's needing our help and is commenting on how awful this situation is, just as the good doctor, or quote-unquote good doctor, usually do. Oh yes, it is certain. It's absolutely awful. Yes, I couldn't agree more. It's awful. It's awful. Okay, the doctor has been escorted for the third and final time of this Fleet Fest. Time to get him out of here. Like I said, don't mention it, but seriously, do not mention it. Whatever floats your boat. In comes the Imperial... I'm gonna let the name card pop up. Celestial Imperator. Yeah, because I had the words mixed up, and I was like, Imperial Cellular... Good gosh. Just enjoy the beat. And kick the baby. Don't kick the baby.
A true warrior.
True warrior. So, score ranks. You can definitely attempt to get all S's if you wish to. The game does have achievements as well. Whether or not you want to seek out your own goals or its goals, there is not too much of diversions that go on. What you see is what you get. Things are mostly straightforward. I will say there is no checkpoint system when it comes to re-entering a level though, so if you do game over and run out of continues, you will have to start that level from the beginning if it's Rising mode, the entire campaign again if it is arcade mode. Well, that's just how some difficult games do be, so why would it be anything else? Strike 'em hard, strike fear in their bodies and brains. Getting them both in one shot is pretty good.
It's not over.
And as Siri just said, it's not over yet. So stick around and I'll take a quick commentator break to let you all enjoy the jam once more. But we are on the 6th mission, so only 2 levels to go before we officially call time on the showcase. Quite a while to go, but presumably, if I were a betting man, I'd probably say, what, 20-ish minutes, maybe not even? All right. So it goes. So yeah, enjoy the jam, folks. Alright, dropping back into our mecha boss fight. I didn't quite cover it because it goes by in the blink of an eye, but phase 1 involves a floating phase where it's hovering upwards in that little gunship mode. You got to take out the gun, and that will lure it out into the mecha phase, which then becomes the bit more problematic fella. And we just don't want him to get any of his attacks on us. But again, breathing room of Siri, biggest perk of the game being she doesn't have guns to lose, she's only got sword swings to gain. So now let's see what she has to say when confronted with our upcoming main boss, the Arachne. I think that's what it is. It's been a while, so... Yep, there it is. Strange indeed. Oof. Trying to get a little sassy there, are we, Arachne? Well, good news for you. You don't even stand a chance anyway. Only 2 stages left to go, and then that'll be it for our little trifecta. So for those that might be joining us, it's a good time to remind everybody that you can find these on the PlayStation 3 digital store, which is still available to purchase the game from. And then you can still acquire this on the Xbox family by using your Xbox One or Series X and Series S. The backwards compatibility of this game with the Xbox family is very much what keeps it and that version alive and well. And of course, we thank Konami and Arc System Works for making sure to do so. Now, let's bust in big time into Shinra Tower. I mean, Capitol Build Tower. More cars coming in and crashing the party. This time around, we've got a bit of a, I guess you could say, reunion coming up. The series' backstory is as simple as follows, where Bahamut was a soldier that once worked for the Commonwealth Army and defected upon having had it with the way they treated others. Siri here has a bit more of a personal tale of she just so happens to be Tiberius's adopted daughter. And just apparently does not quite like to kill. She prefers not to kill anyway. But then imagine having to plow your way through all these enemies in order to save the world and for the better of society. Dang. That's got to be uncomfy for her. And yet she knows that she is represented by her faction of the overall resistance forces. After all, each of the 4 resistance forces had one major member to contribute to the front offensive. And so carrying that honor, that duty with her, is what keeps her pushing forward. After all, she's indeed a mercenary, yes.
It might just be the music, but it really does call to mind Shinra Building.
Totally fair, totally valid. And also, elevator. And gee, I wonder if there should be a Scorpion Sentinel coming out from behind, maybe it's just us. Alright. So one final time coming up with the skip. Luckily we did manage to get it on the second go. There are a couple of failed outcomes, one being nothing simply happens, and on the other hand we have having to take out the helicopter because it spawns anyway. There's one or the other type of deal, so Who knows? Who knows? Just simply is. Hey, just think. Aaron now being able to see his jumps as compared to beforehand. You got more blast beats coming your way. So crunchy, they practically explode with that bass. A little bit of a pun game, a little tongue-in-cheek right there. We are now coming up to the elevator chamber where we will cross paths with Tiberius. Oh, geez, Leviathan, why you gotta crash the little father-daughter reunion here? We were just gonna have a serious talk, nothing more. Yeah. Well, it seems Sari this time around is actually trying to tell herself that looks like she's gonna have to spill someone's blood this time, no other way around it. Enjoy the Leviathan chase one more time. We'll be right back with you come the night Lunata. So, when he says he'll save his victory for later, why later when technically he means right now? After all, he is piloting that thing. Actually, mate, you know, that's a good reminder there, because, yeah, that's why I was always confused as to whether we actually take him down or not. Because to me, it almost assumed, like, he wasn't in the mech, because we never see him enter the mech. And maybe he was on autopilot mode this whole time. But in reality, the Leviathan campaign, which we started this trifecta off with, does end without an anime cutscene during the credits. If you get to check out the animated scenes here in Hardcore Uprising, the animation work was done by Studio 4 Degrees Celsius, a Japanese company that has also worked with making other OVAs for franchises and even doing a little bit of animation handiwork, such as, if you remember, the Amazing World of Gumball and that episode where they have everybody in an anime style and two of the mother characters are fighting each other. Well, that was their work. Which is funny because I believe the original idea was Production IG and they were simply too busy, so it was 4 Degrees Celsius that stepped in, and they also did the anime cutscenes that you see in Street Fighter 4, all versions of the video games. So anytime you see characters in actual anime, including the Ties That Bind OVA, then you have them to thank for that. Probably one of my favorite animation teams, personally speaking. And now, let's end with a daughter's farewell. One final time. One last mission 8. Let's head to the battleship, folks.
Unforgivable.
So one final time for those that are joining us. We start off the level on yet another ride vehicle. and we'll be trying to avoid the missiles and incoming laser cannon fire from the battleship out there, which will then eventually try to really throw in the big guns from above once we start to hoof it on foot once again. But here with this final auto-scroller portion, let's go ahead and say one last. Biker mice to Mars! Or on Mars, or whatever. From Mars. It don't matter. Shout out to the only Joey. So this will probably be a good time to get a few early shout-outs out of the way. We've still got quite a bit of level to go, but I feel it's only fair to give our props. And starting things off, we have, of course, any of our fellow runners of Hardcore Uprising. And we've had quite a few coming in and coming out. So folks like Slurpy Ninja, Phantom Meyer, Milo Demal, myself, I suppose, even though I can't say I'm all that good at the game. We've also had Queen Bee, 83, and of course we've got just quite a few other names on there that if you want to check out, we highly implore you go to the leaderboard. Oh yeah, Mecha Richter as well, yes. Can't forget Mecha Richter. The OG, sorry. That too. Yeah, and then if you'd like to learn a Contra game for any kind of speedrun purposes, the Contra Speedrun Discord will more than happily have your back. And I know Aaron and I would not mind giving whatever pointers and teachings we can to those that wish to try this game as a speedrun. It is still fairly accessible even without a covenanted Steam port. And hopefully one day, if that ever does happen, we hope it'll be nothing but wonderful. Until then, we also do want to make mention that the Contra community does like to have their occasional community races from time to time, so if you'd like to check out the Contra Speedruns channel, it would be appreciated. We did have a 4-player race going on between Aaron, QB, Fanto, and Slurpy, and yes, I was the commentator for that one as well, so... Oh, Kadro. It was not Fano, it was Kadro. Thanks for the correction. Alright. Vitus engine down. The orb is done. Tiberius, one final time. A duel between family. And family it shall be that we fight. Siri's probably going to be that one character that easily clears out Tiberius before he could so much as attack the easiest. There is no way he's ever going to get that offensive in. At that rate, it is just that hard to miss. So, they're in, they're out. Tiberius Augustus shows himself. Of course, got to jump over the shockwave when he stumps. Otherwise, you get launched.
I grow tired of killing.
And Sayuri has grown tired of killing now, apparently, but it seems there's only one major little problem to that. We still got one more Tiberius Invictus. So as we get things going to the dramatic buildup of the boss's final transformation, the only change to point out with this particular character and playstyle is there will be no gun power-ups to pick up this time around that will really help us out from the helicopter bodies. We just gotta slash, slice and dice. And then Tiberius goes bye-bye. And, of course, time will be when we grab the helicopter one final time. But, like I said before, Aaron will have to grab on it. a miss will not be automatically corrected. You will need to get on there legitimately. You will have to do so while still having a life within the game, which we've got more than enough. So even with a singular mistake, there should be no problem whatsoever. So one final shout out, kudos to Arc System Works and Konami Digital for making a very accessible game, and that is time. GG's, Aaron. Thank you for having me as always. And with that, folks,
The final victory fanfare.
yes, go ahead and play it for us right now.
35-12, not bad.
So
Yeah,
enjoy
big
one.
GG's. That was some great running and gunning and hacking and slashing there at the end.
But this
Absolutely.
is perfect. But this song is perfect for this final phase too.
Agreed.
It's the same time. The same time as this. Unedited.
All right. Well, Aaron, you got any shout outs you'd like to make before we sign off?
Oh, shout out to Tempest for making it and providing commentary, because he provides the best commentary.
Oh.
Seriously,
You're too
you have
man.
made all my
Second.
runs 100%, due to the fact that I cannot walk and chew gum because I stutter pretty badly and can pop an F-bomb every now and again to stop myself.
I got your back, man. You got ours, so I got yours. All right, folks. Thank you all for tuning in. And as we say goodbye, I will say very quickly, always be sure to focus on what's ahead of you. Because no matter how difficult a game may be, or accessible it may be, speedrunning is all about having fun. Do it your way.
Yep.
However you choose to. No need to spot the difference. Just go with your own way. Thank you for watching. This has been Hardcore Uprising. And for Aaron and myself, Tempest Mask 1000, enjoy the rest of Fleet Fest. Goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye.